Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Greg Lalas. I'm Nick Fershon. On this Wednesday, we're talking about the US Open Cup. The quarterfinals resuming this evening. 8 teams left, 6 from MLS. 1 from the USL Pro and 1 from the NASL. That's where I want to start here, Greg. Orlando City, the best team in USL Pro, really the Cinderella team of this tournament. They're on the road at the Chicago Fire, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, out at Toyota Park. If they win this game, they will host the semifinals. What's going to happen?
Well, this is a huge one, I think, for Orlando, for sure. This is a team that has made a lot of noise recently, in particular, about wanting to join MLS. Well, to do that, you have to start beating MLS and proving that on the field first. And then, of course, you have to get all the background stuff and the finances and everything in place as well. So this is a huge one for Orlando to go into Chicago and try and get this win. On the other side, though, it's a Fire team that is starting to find its rhythm. You look at what Mike McGee has done since he's joined that team, scoring a lot of goals. He's actually helped Chris Rolfe get a little bit better, I think. And then defensively, despite the retirement of Arne Friedrich, I think Bakary Samari has come in and started to find his old form a lot. That helps them. This is a Chicago Fire team that is out to prove something, and they're going to want to smack down that third division team.
The winner of this game will take on the winner of the first game on Wednesday evening, New England at DC United. Now the nightcap, the 2 games on the other side of the bracket, the Carolina Railhawks, they're the last NASL team remaining. They're on the road at Real Salt Lake, so a daunting task considering the way RSL has played lately. And then maybe the best game of the night. FC Dallas at home against the Portland Timbers. Caleb Porter and his guys up in Portland, they want to win a trophy. They want something in that trophy case. Shellis Hyman and the guys from Dallas, they want to win that Lamar Hunt trophy for their case.
Definitely. And I think it's important what you bring up about Portland here and saying they want to win every trophy that's out there right now. The way Portland are playing, remember, 15 games unbeaten now in the league on this incredible run that they're doing. They've shown that they have depth. They've shown that they can play anywhere. They can play on the road. They can play at home. It doesn't matter. And this is a Dallas team that has been up and down in recent weeks. We saw them streak out at the beginning, and they were very, very good. They have not been quite as good since then. So is this a chance where Portland could go down to Dallas and get the result? I think they could.
Well, the live chat begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on MLSsoccer.com for that DC United New England Revolution game. It's complete coverage of the US Open Cup quarterfinals on MLSsoccer.com. Well, the Gold Cup looming closer and closer. It begins next month, and we heard, Greg, on Tuesday a little bit about the U.S. roster. Landon Donovan and Jack McInerney. That's a leak from SI.com's Grant Wall saying that both of those guys are on the team, and we've also heard Jose Francisco Torres is going to join this team. But everybody's talking about Landon Donovan and whether or not he can work his way back into the main fold for the U.S. national team. This is where he might get a start.
Well, look, when he was named onto the 35-man preliminary roster, that was the crack in the door that Jurgen Klinsmann started to do. This would open it up wide and allow Landon to start to get back into the fold. I think that there's this rift between Klinsmann and Landon about, Landon taking that break and all that. And this will see whether he can mend that. If Donovan can come in and prove that he's still the player that everyone likes him to, or like to think that he is, let's say, right? And can he prove that to Jurgen? Can he prove that he's the right guy in the locker room to Klinsmann? That's going to be the biggest question, because I think Klinsmann's very, very protective right now of the U.S. national team's locker room and the cohesion that they have that saw them get the 3 wins in the June qualifiers. He does not want to disrupt that in any way. So if you bring a big personality, someone who's a big fan favorite like Landon, that starts to disrupt that. This is Donovan's chance now to prove that he would not be a disruptive force.
And for McInerney, a 20-year-old youngster, has been one of the best goal scorers in the league in MLS, so not necessarily a surprise there. Now for Canada, their roster was revealed on Tuesday. Still some tweaks that they can make before Friday, but this is a young team. Will Johnson from the Portland Timbers, Russell Tybert from the Vancouver Whitecaps, and a handful of young, talented guys from Toronto FC, guys like Ashton Morgan and Jonathan Osorio. No Dwayne De Rosario, though, on this team, and no Patrice Bernier.
No Patrice Bernier, no Andre Haynal is on there. So this is a young team, and obviously Canada realized they need to start building for the next World Cup qualifiers. And they actually came out and they said that we need to do well in this Gold Cup to help our seeding, but basically, or to help our ranking in FIFA, but basically they need to start building to get to the World Cup. They realize that the Gold Cup is somewhat important, but more importantly for them is to qualify for the 2018 World Cup. You get these young guys. I love that Russell Tybert is in there from Vancouver. I'm a big fan of Ashton Morgan, and Daniel Henry was also called in from Toronto. So some young outside backs, get them that experience at the international level, it's only going to help them when qualifying comes up again in a couple of years.
Well, you'll find that story and a whole lot more on MLSsoccer.com on Wednesday, including Anatomy of a Goal, the weekly video series from Greg Lalas, and Extra Time Radio podcast came out the other day. We had Mike McGee. I would advise you to go back and listen to that before the U.S. Open Cup kicks in on Wednesday night. Does it for us. We'll be back with another edition of The Daily tomorrow.